This one is for you if you're struggling to get your first push-up. Stop doing knee push-ups. Very, very simple. What I want you to do is I want you to do a full push-up, come down slowly, and if you can't come back up, then do a knee push-up. Let me show you. So, full push-up variation. I'm here, okay? Core engaged. I come down slowly, and then I push. And if I can't come back up, knees back up. Do it again. Core. Slowly down. Push. Knees back up. What you see a lot in bodyweight training and calisthenics is people doing knee push-ups, doing them over and over and over again and not progressing. Quite similar to using a band for pull-ups, linked to that video above. But when you're doing knee push-ups, you're never going to progress. What you need to do is go to the next variation of intensity, see and feel what a full push-up looks like, so you can actually get your muscles feeling it and simulating what an actual push-up feels like, so you can progress towards it. Okay, so next up, F equals MA. Force equals mass times acceleration. Let's accelerate the mass, which is you. So what you're going to do is you're going to do an explosive push-up. Come down as per usual, but as you come back up, try and drive off the floor. We're going to put 3 variations in one, just for you guys. That could be coming down and getting a bit of lift, like that. That's fantastic. Maybe it's doing a clap. Or maybe it's doing a Superman. Okay? Now doing that is going to mean that you, again, F equals MA, you're putting more acceleration of the mass, which means your body and specifically your chest, shoulders and triceps feels more force, so they grow more. You're upping the intensity not by changing leverage, but instead by adding more acceleration. Okay, so this is an archer push-up. Arm out long, thumb facing forward, middle finger facing forward, and make sure you keep this arm locked as you come up through the range. Okay, so arm is completely locked. Really, really good for straight arm strength. Also working on your one arm push-up on that other side. If you're finding that hard, you can bend this arm a little bit, or you can do the same thing, but just do it on your knees. And I actually really like as well, looking at whatever arm is straight when I do that variation. So that's the archer push-up. Okay, next up, you're going to need some parallettes. If you haven't got parallettes, you can use yoga blocks, you can use books, you can use 2 stools or chairs. I just like parallettes because what it does is it changes you from doing this to this, which is really nice for your wrists. So it changes the angle of what you're hitting in your body, but also it means that you get more range of motion. So I'll show you from the front, then I'll show you from the side. So what we're going to do, slightly wider than your normal grip. Okay, we come up, full push-up, and we come down. This time though, there's no point doing this for parallel push-ups. You may as well just be doing normal push-ups. Come down all the way, drive back up. All the way, drive back up. So from the side, go here, core is nice and engaged, and I really try and go as low as I can through the middle. Okay, so one more. Now there's really there's 3 ways you can really progress in calisthenics. Number 1, do more range. Number 2, add more leverage. Number 3, add more weight. I could say do it faster and have less rest time, but those are the main 3. So by using parallettes or increasing the height of what you're doing the push-up off of, you're doing more range of motion, which will just make the full push-ups feel super easy. Next one's called the diamond push-up. It's in the name, very simple. Thumbs touching, first fingers touching. Keep them touching throughout the movement. Keep your elbows tucked through the middle. Full reps, just as usual. Okay, this one is a fantastic move for your triceps, specifically the long head of the tricep there, because it forces you to keep your elbows super tight through the middle, especially if in your push-ups you have quite a wide grip and you're forced to kind of drive your elbows out. That was a diamond push-up, thumbs touching, first fingers touching. Okay, this one we actually have a whole video on, so if you want to go and have a look at it, I'll link to the pike push-up video. But this one is the fantastic variation to help you get your first handstand push-up, and one of the main movements you can use to work on your overhead pushing. Let me show you what it looks like. So same roughly width as a normal push-up. This time I'm in a downward dog. I lean forwards, round my shoulders, and try and go in front of me, locking out the elbows. If you're doing it well, your feet almost start to float. Such a good movement, okay? It's called the pike push-up because you're piking your hips. Really little thing though is make sure that you're not pushing your nose in between your hands, but get it further forwards so you can emulate the same movement as a handstand push-up. When you think of a push-up, you think of triceps, chest, and shoulders. But what about biceps? What you're gonna do is rather than having your middle finger facing forwards, you're gonna have your middle finger facing towards you, or almost like thumbs facing forwards. The more you can do this, the more you get your biceps activated. I'm gonna go halfway, like this. Planche push-up, lean forwards, and now try and keep the elbow pits facing forwards as I do this, okay? And notice how I'm working on my biceps through that variation. Again, a lot of what you do in calisthenics and bodyweight training is involving the biceps, and also a lot of stress goes to your elbow. And so it's really nice to have a conditioning move where we can get blood flow and work on the elbows to build them up and make them more resilient. This one's called Tyson push-ups. Maybe Tyson did them, I don't know. But if you want to knock out people like Tyson, then maybe you should do them. Plank position, come down in your push-up, but then rather than coming up to here, we come back to here, okay? And you keep that flowing through the middle, okay? Notice how my knees don't touch the floor, they're floating. I come down and I come back up. This one is so good for your quads and working on your legs, as well as learning how to get good core engagement, but also learning how to lean forwards in a push-up rather than focusing too much on your triceps, about getting your chest and your shoulders involved as well. So hopefully that was named after Mike Tyson, but they're pretty good. Okay, so next up is one taken straight from yoga. I'm pretty sure it's called Chaturanga or something like that. I'll have to ask Paul or Becky. But basically, you do a downward dog, and then we're gonna dive bomb through the middle, up into an upward dog. And from there, you can come back to downward dog, or you can come through and then bend and come back up. This one is so good for overall shoulder strength and working on, again, these different variations coming through the middle. Really good for your upper back mobility as well. And overall, just like a completely new movement to try. Cool, next one is the planche push-up. This one is so good because whenever I was a power lifter, I was always like, well, I'm just gonna keep doing push-ups and I'm gonna do 30 reps and 40 reps and 50 reps. Do this and tell me if you can do more than 3 to 5. If you're doing it well, you won't be able to. Thumbs facing forwards, planche position. That means I'm rounding my shoulders, lean forwards. Notice how I went from my tippy toes to the back of them there. Keeping the lean, go as far forward as you can, drive back up through that full range. You see how I'm leaning as far as I can, and if you're doing it right, your feet should move as you come up. This is such a good variation for working on your planche, getting your chest involved, working on your triceps, and just really adding intensity to your push-up rather than just adding reps.